All right, happy witching hour. Hello, how are y'all? I wanted to come and speak about a few things at this new moon in Cancer, and about this new moon in Cancer on the 25th of June. And even though it's already starting now, um, the energies are going to get more intensified 3 days before the new moon, which will be the eve of my birthday. And then within 3 days after. And so I wanted to come and speak real quick about some of the false negative associations that have been happening in social media, um, and just in general, what has been going on in social media for like the past decade, which has nothing to do with me. Somebody speaking about you, somebody talking about you does not have to necessarily involve you. So, pretty much at this new moon, and it's been happening for quite some time, as far as coming on the internet, going back and forth with people, talking about the same thing that does not serve me. This is no longer going to happen. In fact, I'm going to be quite busy for the rest of my life, way too busy to deal with that. So, if anybody wants to continue to view or listen to people like that, anybody that decides to do that, and I'm talking about anybody that, as far as like clients or supposed clients or people that watch things of that nature that may not necessarily be a part of my life, I am not going to be seeing, hearing, thinking, and these days smelling the evil. I'm going to be honest with y'all. My spiritual gifts have started to come through, and they're coming through very strong. In particular, my sense of smell. And it's actually something that I can't stomach anymore. Okay. I can't do it anymore. So, just a warning, there are a lot of lies, things that are made up, things that were made up 10 years ago, 12 years ago, that are being recycled, even in an attempt to keep some kind of connection, even if it's just in social media. This is something that I am disconnecting from. I don't care, but if you hear somebody saying something about me, there is a 99.9999999% chance that it is either exaggerated, made up, and spinned. And I'm no longer responding because it's not real. It's a falsely created BS that has nothing to do with anything that I would ever manifest for myself. And then also, of course, y'all are aware that when a person continues to try to reach you, they are either trying to form a cord either to you or someone close to you. And this is something that's going to happen. And it is because I have gotten the warning from Saturn. When this Saturn goes into retrograde, I believe it's going to be July 17th. Don't quote me on that. It may be the 13th. It may be the 14th. Um, that is where things are going to get particularly nasty. There are people out here that are getting bad spiritual advice. When Saturn hits, it is going to really be bad when that retrograde hits. And people are going to be confused, almost like zombies. And the first thing that they do, instead of looking at themselves, actually listening to God, listening to their ancestors, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to look to complete strangers in social media for whatever energy, whatever sustenance that is needed. They're going to be looking to people in social media, and I cannot and I will not do it anymore. Anything that you're thinking, anybody besides family that I've already spoken to about anything, I'm not dealing with it anymore. I'm not discussing my physical geographical location with anybody. I'm not discussing any of that anymore. I'm not discussing it. I'm not discussing anything personal anymore. If I have a lawsuit, I just have one. That's the end of story. It's not something that I'm going to, things, problems, and issues. I generally don't handle it that way. I don't sit around and think about it. I do something about it and I wait for it to manifest. It's what I've always done. And I just don't have room anymore for it. Okay. In fact, a lot has changed, especially when I completed a very delayed recallment ritual that needed to be done. Um, I'm done. I don't have any real connection to most of the people on the internet. I don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm promising myself that anything that does not apply to me, I'm just not going to respond to it anymore. Anything that doesn't apply to me, I'm not responding to it anymore. Period. Okay. So, and there has already been things that have been put up and into place to where my spirits and my gods are saying, hey, this is what has to be done. This right here is what is going to be done. And if you try to intercept that, that's when there's going to be a problem. Y'all have to understand that some of these people out here, they had to work at even getting access to you. They had to work at it. They had to pray for it so that they could come into your life and just prey on you, attach themselves to you, and then maybe even pull you into a grave with them or use you as a sacrifice. I am no longer dealing with people like that. Stalking somebody is not empowerment. Stalking is actually very weak. I am not going to do it anymore. And it started already, but I wanted to come and muse about how it's gonna get really intense at 6/22/2025. The intention, and it is strong as the sun and Jupiter and Mars put together. And it just is what it is. When it comes to, hey, my time and my energy is being spent on things that serve me, things that I enjoy, my children, just pleasure in life. That is it. And this is something that people, unfortunately, and you know what? I'm going to tell you something. Is some people that will tell themselves, well, I've got to do this or I'm going to die. And this is survival. If you tell yourself that, then I guess you surely will die. If you've told yourself that, oh my God, I've got to somehow do this, this, and that in order to survive, and I've got to do this, this, and that. If you've told yourself that, and that is a reality for you, that you have to stay attached or try to keep reattaching to Jamila, to her loved ones, to her family, to anything, then I guess that's just what it is. When you pass on, I'm not even going to mention you. I'm going to pretend that I don't know you, which is the way it should be in the first place. That's the way it's supposed to be anyway. Nobody in social media, except for people that I may have let in and kept. If I kept you, I kept you. Period. If you are a person that I have repeatedly said, hey, I want nothing to do with you, and you feel that it is your lifeline, and you have told yourself that you got to try to attach yourself to somebody in social media, and you done convince yourself that on a daily basis, you're gonna die and lose your breath and die, and that's gonna make Jamila look bad if you die. Hey, that's on you. I don't have to say anything to you or about you. Okay? That's the end of the story. I don't care about who your boss is, who told you to do it. They that's your boss, not mine. They don't have nothing to do with me. As far as I'm concerned, the way that I see you is that you done got you somebody done gave you an assignment, and so and you trying to be Mission Impossible, but you certainly don't look like Tom Cruise. I think it's weird, and I think that weirdness has to go. And please believe that any of my loved ones, my kids, they follow my lead anyway. They don't pay no attention to that mess. God no. God no. With anybody else, hey, I am encouraging you to let that stuff go. Even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's 30 minutes, an hour of your time, I'm going to tell you something. The gods of Saturn, they are coming. You know, retrograde is an illusion within itself, because it's not that that planet is actually moving away. It's an illusion that those gods have already returned, and it's intensifying. You have to respect anybody that doesn't have any respect for the precious time. When you deal with Saturn, you're dealing with the god of time, Cronus, and he is not happy with people that sit around and waste time. He does not like that. And I welcome him into my life. He's very loving, he's very patient, he's actually very understanding. Okay? But the problem is that I've made a deal with him. Give me back my time and I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do because I want it back. There will be no, oh, I wasted a year. Oh, I wasted 2 years. No, no. And then Saturn is also about fate and destiny. Nobody is doing that anymore. At least I know that I'm not. I can't do it anymore. I can't. Okay. So just FYI, y'all, new moons are really good for cutting out bad habits, ending negative cycles. Either it can be ending relationships or either ending a negative cycle within a relationship that you're going to keep. Okay, so it's not just about cutting somebody off. You can't just cut everybody off. Otherwise, you'll be alone and you'll never understand why. Okay, so it's not about that. It's a time of reflection and work and peace. And anybody that I have decided to keep is kept. Anybody that I decided to not keep, you gotta go. I don't care if you. I guess you just gonna float up to the universe and turn into a big ass rock. I have no idea, but all I know is that, of course, my children, my grandchildren, my family members that I love, my cat, my daughter has a cat, people that everybody that you see and that I am keeping is kept. Otherwise, if it's a person that I don't want nothing to do with, that is it. I don't care what they say to me or about me. They can come on here with I don't care what they do or what they say. I am no, and this is starting today. Today, you're not getting a reaction out of me anymore because I can feel it. That Saturn retrograde is going to sneak up on us before we know it. And Spirit said, go ahead. And I think that will be, by the time Saturn goes into retrograde, we're going to be at about the same point within the moon cycle, and we'll be almost at a new moon. Life is precious. No way that I am going to be wasting time in my life not doing it. If you're a person that wants to hear that mess and you decide that you want to feel some type of way about me, like I'm talking about a client, anybody on here that just got to keep up with that and I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume that you're being replaced as a client. I'm not going to run behind you. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't even want to think about it anymore. Okay? like I said, if you are here in my social media still, especially on YouTube, the focus has to shift back to the original plan of this channel. Period. Okay? Just all of this to it. No, I am not going to leave social media. No, I'm not going to shut down my business. No, I am not going. And I can't not be a witch. You know, people should understand that a person cannot being a witch, cannot stop being a witch. No, being a witch does not mean that you are a lesbian. No, being a witch does not mean that you're a sex worker. No, being a witch does not mean that you're evil. No, it just means witch. You cannot change something like that. Being a witch is one of the things that nobody can change. Okay? So that's just what that is. Okay? I do not conform to other people's whims and wills. I do not do that. I've never done that. It is what it is. So, and Spirit is setting up defense for that. Defense. Don't get mad at me about what my spirits do to you. They are the ones who are dictating this. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. Whatever anybody else is doing on here, I back them up. If it's somebody that I love and care about, I back them up on their process of whatever they're doing. But other than that, that has nothing to do with what I'm doing. If somebody that I've met, once or twice is on here doing what they doing, that has nothing to do with what I'm doing or thinking about. This is something that should be a given and should be understood already, but apparently it is not. So I said, let me go on here and verbally say this. Okay? Ooh, it was some juicy gossip said about you. It was a lie. I'm not responding. Don't even come to me and talk to me about that. I don't want to hear it anymore. My ears have now become allergic to things like that. I don't even want to hear it. I don't. And you know what? This is funny because I did do some work to cut out all distractions. Because the reason why a lot of people don't fulfill what they want to fulfill in their lives is because they allow distractions constantly. And the next thing you know, you done distracted yourself out of 40, 50 years of your life. Because people that are there to bring too much adversity are there to distract you. They are. I think they call it shrilling or shilling or something. I don't have nothing to do with that, and my gods will let you know because they will manifest themselves. Okay? No, I'm not going back and forth with nobody. No, I'm not. I don't have nothing to do with nobody else's thing that they got going on. I don't care who they are. You can be the president of the United States, the president of the Illuminati. I don't care. Hey, Andrea. Hello. I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't care about whether or not the Freemasons and the secret societies and the da 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 da. I don't. I don't. That don't have nothing to do. Hey, let me tell you something. I am a witch. That doesn't affect me. That doesn't bother me. It maybe some of those things are interesting to talk about, but you know what? It's not nothing that I fear. Okay? It's not nothing that I fear. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna I don't want to say that. I was gonna say I'm not gonna wake up and P. Diddy's mother be, hovered over me or something. I don't care about any of that. And you know what? In general, witches, we just like, there's a lot of accusations that are made towards us, but to just, witches are not parasites. We're not even vampires. Witches don't need to do that. We don't need to stay attached to people. In fact, witches have been very well known for our efforts when it's time to end negative associations that don't serve people. And just because those people want to keep trying to have that connection, and I do realize that they're working at it, they're even trying to do, which is so funny, they're going to get it because the gods are going to return. It's going to get worse. It's going to get so bad. They're doing shamanic rituals to do this. Those people are going to be in a lot of trouble. So even though the air quality may be like, oh, what is that? What is that? Still take your sage, take your eucalyptus, burn it off. You know, I was looking up something and I ran across this video of this cat that was making apple fries. It was so funny. And I said that, it just, look at a funny video. You know what I'm saying? Just do something else. Just, please, anything but that. Anything but that. Okay, well, not anything, because I don't, focus on just anything. Focus on what's important. What's important? Yourself, your family, your loved ones. That's what's important. That's a fact. Not the viewpoints and opinions of people that don't like you. If they don't like you, they're not going to give you credit for anything that you've done. You can't expect people that dislike you, they're not going to see the good in you. Focus on the people that do. That's how I feel. I'm focusing on the people that do like me and they like Jamila. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel you on that. Like, and that's just like in my personal life. I'm giving all my attention to everybody that I love, period. No, I'm not going to resolve issues or work it out. Sometimes there's no need for that with certain people. It's just you did what you did. I called you out for it. I decided to cut you off. No, I don't want to work this out. No, I'm not going to speak to you. It was hello and now it's goodbye. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what that is. Okay? That's just what that is. So, and I think that it's and there's a lot of things that I'm going to be doing in between this time, including a lot of healing work. And I know that healing energy, it is so seductive to people. It is. And people, they want to, they're chanting your name. Go chant, go, go and talk to God. I'm not God. I may be a demigod, maybe, experiencing the human experience, but I'd like to experience the the family. I always have. It's never been any different. I've never wanted to be anywhere else except for in a place of just joy with the people that I love and my family. That's all I want. Okay. And with clients, when we have a victory, we'll celebrate. Hey, yay, and then and it's healthy for for things to level and balance themselves out. Typically when I'm working with a client, you know, and if I've done everything that I know to do to keep you grounded, but it's still not working, I'm gonna, I've only been suspectful of things like that, because, but but other than that, it's gonna be a lot of changes in the next month or so, and positive change, positive. Bottom line is that nobody that means me and the people that I love and care for, my clients, they have no power to do harm. They don't. Period. They don't. It's like Fort Knox or something. They not gonna get in. You know what I'm saying? And then also, as far as like personal time, when you doing that personal time or family time, or you spending time, I just I like to do things that I enjoy doing. It just it is what it is, man. My birthday's coming up on the 23rd. I'm excited. I'm very excited about that. And I'm celebrating my birthday already. Am I worried about somebody throwing something at me? Nope. I have done everything possible. Maybe if you're still thinking about things like that, maybe it's just something that you need to go to the bathroom and get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you've done everything, then just trust the process and relax. That, especially when it comes to spiritual work. I had somebody, um, actually, a Lyft driver, tell me that, don't speak the negative. And that's fine to say that, but because of what I was talking about is corporations and things of that nature. But sometimes you do have to sit down, you have to write it down, you have to take some stones, you have to take some twine, and you got to take some water and some alcohol and some herb. And sometimes you got to add some salt, and you got to really apply it. Sometimes you got to do that because you never know. I think it makes it stronger personally, other than saying it. So some you can think it, sometimes you can think it even, but it's all in your head. Sometimes you're just thinking it, but what's happening and manifesting earthly is not happening at all. So if that true manifestation, you know that actual physical matter is not created, then you ain't really doing nothing. And trust me, it don't take forever for that to happen. Trust me on that. It don't take forever for that to happen. And then another thing is that if you are a person that worked to get to a certain level, okay, and then you had people making an extra effort to digress you or knock you down, you don't necessarily have to start from the beginning. The miracle is right around the corner, is right over there. You just have to reach it and grab it. You don't have to start at the bottom just because somebody wanted you to start over at the bottom. Like a new beginning, that's good. New beginning, breakthrough, good. But to start from scratch, the us in our 40s and 50s, we ain't trying to do that. And Spirit said we didn't have to do that. That's just like, if you was selling cars or something, or selling hair weaves or something, and you were making, I'm just gonna bring up a number. Let's say you started making 80 or 90,000, with that, and then somebody said, up, I want to destroy that for her or him, and then you You started struggling a little bit. Okay. You do not have to wait another 3, 2, 3, 4, 5 years to start making that 80 and 90,000. In fact, you need to be focused on increase. That's a fact. Especially if you done did the work to get it. You ain't gotta you ain't and pay no attention to those naysayers. They don't have no power unless you give it to them. So that's just where we at, you know. And so anyway, I'm just warning people because I am trying. I think this started. You know, my relationship with Aries actually started. I still got that picture when there was a when Mars moved into Cancer constellation. Huh? And you know it just it's he's already ready. Don't try to argue with that God. He gonna hurt you every time. Aries don't play that mess. He don't play that. He don't play that. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you just gotta start respecting people. Respect people. You know, leave people alone. Quit being a what do they call it, backbiter, quit being a nuisance, you know. You know, quit stop, you know, because that God will clobber you, he will. And then so will Cronus, you know what I'm saying? And when Saturn go into retrograde, oh my God, I can't wait till Mars goes into retrograde. I cannot wait. It's just gonna be a bunch of stuff happening. It ain't nothing but a miracle. Somebody telling you something otherwise, they're just being dickheads, okay? You got to worry about them. Don't worry about them and just let it, you know, just let it manifest and you'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's pretty much it, you guys. What I wanted to say. Um I cannot I cannot I don't they you know they probably gonna say, hey, I saw Jamila biting the head off of a cat down on the corner. Uh Everybody know Jamila ain't did nothing like that, but they may just say it. Hey, I saw Jamila crawling up from the sewer. But everybody know that ain't the fucking truth, but they may say it. I'm not gonna go live and say that's not true. I'm just not, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just not gonna do it. No. And, you know, and I will come on here and talk to you guys about, you know, things that may be delightful or things that may be thought provoking. But as far as trying to control others with fear, I don't, you know, I don't do things like that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, so I'm just, I cannot. And this is starting today. It's starting today. But at the new moon, you know, as that moon gets darker, you know, that dark moon can be really, really healing for some people, but it can be very, very wicked for other people. But it's probably only, like for me, it's only going to be wicked to those people that want to maintain some kind of false connection with me that don't even really exist. So then now you're just, you know, because it doesn't exist because I made it not exist. It does not exist. If you ever had some kind of cord or silver cord or whatever the hell they call it, if you ever had it, I got rid of it. I obliterated it, and don't even try me. And people that I want to stay connected to, that's just who I want to stay connected to. It just is what it is. Okay. And I'm just not, yeah, I'm just not doing it. Okay. Summertime is coming up. The summer solstice is coming up. I was actually born around the summer solstice. Okay. In 1977. And, you know, today's my birthday. This is Thursday. Okay. I was born on a Thursday. Okay. You know, and so I'm just, yeah, no, you know, and if I feel something or see something or smell something, you know, it just anything out of the ordinary or whack, I don't need to come to social media and speak about it. I'm just gonna handle it and keep it moving. You know, and yeah, so that's just where we're at with that. Okay. All right, guys. I will see y'all later. Blessings to y'all. And I'm out. I'll see y'all later on or something. I may up. Oh, I do have another video to upload, so that'll be uploaded shortly. Okay. All right. Blessings to y'all. Make sure y'all hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it when I see it because it lets me know. But I listen. I don't work on likes because sometimes I'll come on here and say something that makes a whole lot of sense and it won't get very many thumbs up. And that's because it does make sense. But people that don't want things to make sense, that they don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's okay. And even if I only have one or two thumbs up, I still know that what I spoke was right, or at least it was right for me. It was my understanding, and I'm good with that. Okay. All right, guys. Okay, y'all have a good one. Have a happy Thursday. I gotta go. All right, bye bye.